Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So my name is Asia J. Ali, and today we're going to be testing out something extremely special. I was sent this palette, the Danessa Myricks Groundwork palette. And what's so special about this palette is it's supposed to be an all-over face palette. So you're supposed to be able to use this palette on your eyebrows, on your lips, as contour, color correcting, anything you can think of that's face. This palette is supposed to have it all. What comes in the palette is you have all of these beautiful neutral shades. So you actually have a powder shade and you also have a pomade shade. We are gonna go ahead and go on a date later. So this is gonna be my date makeup. So we're gonna look real cute. So let's go ahead and start with our brows. This is the shade that we're gonna use for our brows. And so the bigger pan is actually the pomade and the smaller one is the shadow. Oh, it's soft. Okay, cool. My first impressions, the product is not as flaky as some other brow products that I've used. A lot of brow products, the actual texture of the pomade is very, very dry. This is not one of those. So we're gonna go ahead and dip into Mirage right here. We're gonna use that to clean and conceal our brows. And this shadow, you can see it really up close. It matches my skin tone so well. To set this brow, the setting powder for Bark, and I'm gonna use that to set my eyebrows and basically clean up. You see how like that little part right there, it's not straight. It's driving me insane. Oh my goodness, that made me so happy to just fix it. It was driving me crazy. So what confuses me about this formula, right, is it's this buildable, velvety pomade, but it's not greasy. And I don't know, something about that just really confuses me, that it's so not greasy. Like, look at it above my, like up here, there's no shine. And I don't know, that for some reason it confuses me. I'm like, how is it soft and like malleable in the pan, but then when you blend it out, it's so matte and skin-like? Okay, I'm not complaining, but I'm just confused at this point. Because I just have so many Danessa Myricks products, I'm just gonna try to keep this as Danessa Myricks as possible. This is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin 7. We are just going to go ahead and massage the yummy skin into our skin. Before we go ahead and do foundation, I actually wanna go ahead and set my eyes with the shade Mirage because I just feel like it was such a good eyebrow color. Let me go ahead and use it to be the base for my actual eyeshadows. And again, we are using the pomade still. We're just applying that all over the lid. This is Yummy Skin 11. It is their skin tint. We're just gonna apply that all over our skin. Now, it's time for the eyes. Because I want to use this Danessa Myricks ColourFX. This is the shade Nebula. I'm gonna pop that all over my lid. So now we have our ColourFX on. So glittery, so beautiful. So I wanna go ahead and do my under eye so I could do a nice, beautiful smoky eye with this eye look. Let's get frisky with it, all right? Let's see how this light shade blends under my eye. Is it gonna look insane? Am I doing too much? I guess we'll find out. And now we are just going to pat this under our eye. So what I did notice is it's when you layer it on top of the glitter, it actually kind of like sticks together a little bit. So it's requiring a little bit more blending than the rest of the eye. I'm gonna set using this shadow from Sandstone. So we're gonna go ahead and finish our eyes. Let's go ahead and jump right into the shade Tourmaline. We are just gonna go ahead and create a nice little wing. And I'm gonna go ahead and set with Tourmaline powder, just so my eyeliner doesn't go anywhere all day. What I did is I went ahead and smoked out my under eye, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of a cat eye over here. So I'm just gonna use a liquid pencil because it'll be easier. So what we wanna do also is smudge out our lower lash line. So I'm gonna dip into the shadow Harvest. Let's go ahead and dip into Mirage. We are going to use that below Harvest to finish our smoke. It's okay, they'll be even by the time I leave the house. I noticed when I was putting or trying to smoke my under eye with the shadow, there's a lot of fallout. And the quality of these shadows is crazy. So like when you put it on, it's gonna set right there. So you kind of have to like work with the product to get it to disappear. but they're great. I've never had shadows this high quality. Honestly, if Danessa Myricks keeps making shadows like this, I will be very, very interested. I am typically not a pomade or a liquid sculpting type of girl, so I'm not gonna do the pomade on my face, but I will use the powder. Let's go into Sculpted, which is the shade right here. We're gonna use this as our contour. I like that, actually. That's a really good shade for me. And see, I love the shade so much. But like, part of me is like, I kind of wish the pans were bigger. Like, I wish they sold them as just like a contour. So what I want to do is try to see if I can warm up the skin a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into Bark, and I'm gonna use Bark kind of like as a bronzer. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted. Oh yeah. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna line my lips with this palette because it says lips on here. I'm supposed to be able to use this absolutely everywhere. So we're gonna line our lips with, let's do Harvest. So it's definitely not bad, but I typically like a darker one. So let's try Bark. And if Bark doesn't work, then let's try Sculpted. Done, easy peasy. I like how this feels on the lips too. The pomade is extremely light. I kind of like this shade right here, Core. So it's on the lips, blend it perfectly. Let's try this. No transfer. I'm gonna add a little lip gloss because I need some moisture, okay? My lips are dry. I have been a bad adult all day, so we're just adding a little gloss on top. I'm gonna go ahead and do my finishing touches, and I'll be back with my final review. This is my final look using the Groundwork palette. If you would like to know any of the other items that I used today, I will have them listed down below in the description. I'm gonna go ahead and give you my first impressions of this palette. Pros of this palette. I definitely use this entire palette all over my face. We got some brows, we got some lips, we did some contour, we got some highlight. We did everything with this palette. I am kind of obsessed with the formula of the pomade. I love how blendable the pomades are. I think because I'm so used to pomades being kind of hard to work with sometimes. Sometimes pomades are kind of like, they're very stubborn and there's a lot of like pull on them. But for this one, I could even use like a normal fluffy brush, dip it into the pomade. It's going to get some product on the brush and I can put it right on my face and it looks beautiful and it blends perfectly. So the formula of the pomade, it just like boggles my mind. For the powders, my pros, okay, I'll just be honest here. I am a powder girl. I love powder because I'm so greasy, so I'm like obsessed with powder. But these powders, they are so velvety. They blend so well. I am always looking for a really rich black, and this palette delivers that. I love the shades available in this palette. It really makes it a lot more user-friendly that the shades are so good, because you don't really have to think that hard. You're like, oh, I think this shade would work for me. You like dip your brush in it, you put it on your face, and it works for you. And what else could you want? So now let's do the cons. Let's be mean here. Because it is an all over face palette, when you're using a big brush, these little tiny shadow pans are kind of annoying. However, this is not truly a con because you can pop them out, put them somewhere else, and then use your blending brush on top of that, just so you can have a little bit more stability, a little bit more flick of the wrist, I guess. Okay, this is a weird con. It's fuzzy. I have no idea why it's so fuzzy. I don't understand what that is whatsoever. Hopefully it's okay that I put it on my face anyway. I just kind of ignored it. I kind of feel like because it's been so hot, maybe it's just what humidity does to the pans. So I just talked about how wonderful this black shadow is. Blends great. Everything blends wonderfully. However, with the black one specifically, I had so much fallout. I don't know if you can really see it because I have a lot of freckles naturally, so like I think it kind of blends in with my natural freckles. But I think it was kind of annoying because these shadows are so good. They last long. It says that you're supposed to use the shadows to set. They set immediately. So when you actually have that fallout, it's kind of like discouraging. It's like, oh my God. You kind of have to work with it to get it to disappear. So those are my first impressions for the Danessa Myricks Groundwork palette. I am gonna go on my date, okay? I'm gonna go drink some juices, I'm gonna eat some French fries, and then I'll be back with you and I'll let you have a final look at my makeup, okay? And this is me at the end of the night. So I think my lips did transfer a tiny bit, which that's perfectly fine because I did apply a little gloss, but there wasn't any excessive
creasing, and for the most part, everything stayed exactly where it needed to be.
Okay, and now that concludes my video for you guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and I will see you next time.